if you have not heard, the NFL not playing anymore. They said they'll try to make up games. But if a game has to be canceled due to an outbreak of COVID, number one, you'll forfeit the game. And that was something where they go, okay, they won't really do that. Well, apparently they will, because they're not playing games. They're basically telling players they have to get vaccinated. So number one, they will forfeit the games. Number two, it will not help your draft status. For draft picks, that game just gets removed. So if you try to, at the end, have an outbreak and you miss a couple games at the end of the season, that's not going to help you improve your draft pick. It'll just remove it. If you get a game canceled, you now only get judged off the 16 games you actually play when it comes to draft position. So that's the next step they did. And then the biggest step. If a game is canceled, both the team that had the outbreak and the team that their opponent, nobody gets paid. The coaches and the players, nobody gets paid. And the team that has the outbreak is responsible to recoup it. So let's say an Eagles opponent was to have an outbreak and Eagles were to lose a home game and all the tickets and all the stuff that would be lost, the other team would then be responsible for recouping all the money and the lost TV revenue and all that. The NFL has decided that they're not playing about their money. That's what it's about. NFL has never cared about player safety. Like, they're not just all of a sudden they care, but they do care about their money. And they're not playing. It's now official. They're saying if you're an NFL player and you choose to not be vaccinated, that's your right. But if there is an outbreak, you're not getting paid, period. And you're not helping your team with the draft. That loss won't help you or hurt you one bit when it comes to the draft. So it becomes a natural question then, if we're doing a trial. And the charge is this. And this doesn't just apply to the NFL. We see what the issues are with the Phillies and everywhere else. The initial charge is unvaccinated players in pro sports are selfish. Guilty, not guilty. Are you surprised, Connor, that the NFL came out so strong? Connor Thomas in for me and doing in my normal spot and doing the updates today.
I'm honestly not. They made a team last year play a game with no quarterbacks. And that was in the midst of still trying to figure out how a season happened. Now with an available vaccine and what we've already seen from leagues that are currently going on, saying maybe the MLB and a team that plays baseball in this city, there needs to clearly be stronger regulations and punishment really from these leagues if they want to make sure these games actually happen. And that's clearly what happened here.
Now, again, I don't care what your individual, just want to make this very clear. I don't care what your individual take is on the vaccine. I don't care if you're vaccinated. I don't care one bit what you think about it. Not at all. Don't care. I know I can speak for myself. I can speak for Connor. I know how we feel about it, but I don't care how anybody out there feels about it. But now it's about your profession. So, for example, Connor has to work, especially on Kincaid's show in the morning. You're around a bunch of people.
Yeah, always.
Therefore, if you were to come here and be around people and cause an outbreak, it could be a problem for your job.
Yeah.
Separate from your life or your opinion or anything, it would be a problem for your job.
Yeah, there are people on that show that need to make money. It could be my fault. You can't there's repercussions to my actions if that was to happen.
Right. So regardless of what your opinion is, that's just the reality. NFL players, it's a lot of guys in the locker room. They're in close quarters. They've already talked about competitive advantage and disadvantages. They also came out today. If you are vaccinated and you're in a close contact, you're fine. Come to work. If you're a close contact, you minimum must miss 5 days no matter what. So on Thursday, you get tested, you're missing the game. Period. You're missing the game. Whether it's a Thursday night game, Sunday, or Monday, you're missing the game. So at this point, with what the NFL laid out and what we know about the sporting part of it, how important availability is. We talked about this with the Phillies when they had their outbreak right before the All-Star break and now the continuation of the outbreak afterwards. The charge is, at this point, with all that's on the line with the NFL, and you know how much you care about the Eagles, before you lay this out, and I'm not trying to skew the jury. You guys will decide. I'm laying out the charges. I'm just laying out the charges. The charge is that NFL players, MLB players, NBA players, NHL players, MLS players who do not get vaccinated, knowing the repercussions now, are selfish. Because now I'm not talking about your opinion on whether or not what's real or fake or any of that stuff. What it's about now is you can directly hurt your team. So that's step one. These athletes would hurt their team if they were to help cause an outbreak or not protect themselves from the outbreak. Number two, they hurt you directly. And it wouldn't just be the Eagles. Eagles, Dallas. They said the other day, Michael Irvin was complaining because Dallas had just got to the point where half of their players that are going to training camp. And we don't even know if those players would be from the 53. That's from the 90 that go to camp. We don't know how many then may be cut. It could be a whole bunch of vaccinated people on the cut side, the borderline side, but they just got to 50% of the players that came to camp. That would mean that Eagles, Dallas, you paid for your tickets. And now with the NFL, they're not playing. The Dallas would have to forfeit that game. You go, oh, great. That means the Eagles, nope. None of the Eagles players would get paid. And then Dallas would be responsible, I guess, for giving you your ticket money back. But you would lose the game, so you wouldn't get to watch Eagles, Dallas. And the Eagles players, Jalen Hurts, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, they wouldn't get paid. This is a big deal. I didn't expect it. MLB didn't go that strong. NBA didn't go that strong, but they also have more games. The question was always, what happens? Oh, baseball just move a game. It's easy. It's one game. It's one of 162. But the same exact rules that applied for MLB applied for the NFL. And for our purposes, applied for the Eagles. Would you be so nonchalant if you lost an Eagles game, an Eagles home game, and now it's to the point where it could be the possibility of it not even being any Eagles player's fault? It could be for the opposing player. They're basically, the NFL saying, you're a bad teammate if you don't get vaccinated. The NFL is saying that. So now the question becomes, what do you say out there? Are players who choose not to get vaccinated and thus risk being unavailable with a vaccine available, whatever you think about it, I'm just laying out facts. It is available, and it's not hard to get, and there's no wait. You can just get it like today if you wanted it. Anybody can get it just about anywhere. Are they selfish? I believe that they are, personally, but it doesn't matter what I think. Connor, I believe, what do you think?
I think they're selfish as well. With these type of repercussions, costing your team,
don't
your
mess
city,
with my money, man.
the people who are paying to come see you, your teammates' paychecks, the other team's paychecks. I mean, it'd be pretty selfish to not make sure that doesn't happen.
Listen, you mess with my money, and then you mess with the fans. Those are the things you care about. The money and the fans. This affects both.